Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kara and I will be giving you Southern Gothic horror movie recommendations. Now, this is one of my favorite types of horror movies. I love the vibe. I love a dark religious horror movie set in the South. So if you also love this vibe, stay tuned because I've got some horror movie recommendations for you. So the first movie and my favorite on the list, that's the Last Exorcism. This has such a good Southern Gothic vibe. It is set in rural Louisiana, so you are getting swampy, spooky vibes. So the movie is about a pastor, Reverend Cotton Marcus, who is trying to expose the church. He is trying to prove that demonic possession isn't real. He gets a letter from a desperate father who thinks that his daughter is possessed by the devil. So him and his team go out to do a documentary to try to expose the church. Once they get to the house and they start performing the exorcism, they start thinking that maybe demonic possession might be real. I remember when I first saw this movie, I was so creeped out. This is like everything I want in a horror movie. It's set in a rural town. It has got the best vibes. It is a dark religious horror movie. It's so good. And I really like the ending. I liked how they ended it. I don't know, I just didn't see it coming. I don't know why, but I really like how they ended it. And I just had such a good time watching it. It is a found footage movie, one of my favorite found footage movies ever made. Next movie is The Skeleton Key. Caroline is a hospice nurse who's taking care of an elderly man who is paralyzed. Violet, his wife, insists that they do not keep mirrors in the house. Caroline also ends up getting a skeleton key and ends up going up into the attic and uncovers something really creepy. But instead of just fleeing the scene, she begins to investigate, and then she finds herself entangled in the house's history. The movie is set in rural Louisiana again, so you're again getting swampy, spooky vibes. It also has one of the best endings I have ever seen in a movie. Like, the ending is wild. You're watching the movie and you're like, okay, Caroline, it's time to go. It's time to go. This to me is a horror classic. Like, people ask me for horror movie recommendations, I always say The Skeleton Key, especially if you want a good horror movie with an amazing ending. The next movie is more of a crime thriller. It's not really a horror movie, but it definitely has Southern Gothic vibes, and that's The Devil All the Time. So this movie, the cast, it has Bill Skarsgård, Tom Holland, Sebastian Stan, and Robert Pattinson. Like, if that's not enough to watch this movie, I don't know what is. Insane cast. And it is a very dark, religious movie. Again, it's not scary. It is more of a crime thriller. I feel like even if you're not into this vibe, you would still enjoy this movie. Like, it's very well done. It is also a Netflix original. So if you have Netflix, you can watch this movie. The movie is set in rural Ohio and West Virginia, and we follow a man named Arvin who is trying to fight off evil forces and protect his family. But this is a thriller that's going to keep you guessing and keep you wanting more. Next movie is Frailty. It totally has this vibe. It's also a thriller. It's not really a horror movie, but it's about a man who goes to the FBI and starts telling the FBI about his childhood and how his father was killing people because he claimed that they were demons. So the movie has like flashbacks to this guy's childhood. I would also read up on trigger warnings for this movie. It does deal with abuse, so read up on trigger warnings before watching it. The movie stars Matthew McConaughey, and I just think this is a gem that not too many people have seen or heard about, but it is such a great movie. And one of the reasons why I love this movie is because it has such a dark religious theme. I love thrillers and horror movies that explore this, so I really enjoyed it. Next movie is Jessabelle. Again, this is another Louisiana spooky, swampy horror movie. Jessie goes through a tragic accident, and to recuperate, she goes to her dad's rundown house to try to get better. Then really creepy things start happening, and she thinks that it has to do with her mom. So the reviews of this are mixed. I think if you're a horror fan, you're gonna like this, but if you are expecting like an Oscar winning movie, don't watch this one. Oh, I don't know. You might not like it. But I think if you love horror movies, you like the Southern Gothic vibe, I think you're gonna enjoy this. It also stars Sarah Snook. I love everything that she's in. She is so good. So she was really enjoyable in this movie. But yeah, again, watch it for the vibes. If you like horror movies, if you like Louisiana horror movies, I think you'll like this. Okay, again, another movie that is not super highly rated. I liked it, but I'm a horror person and I like Southern Gothic movies, and that's Sinister 2. So we follow a young mom and her two boys as she is fleeing a domestic violence situation. She is trying to hide from her husband, so she ends up going to this house and her two boys start seeing dead children. So this is supposed to be after the first Sinister. There's not really a connection. I mean, there is a connection, but you can still watch this movie without watching the first Sinister, even though the first Sinister was amazing. So if you haven't seen that, you should. Um, but this was I thought it was pretty good. Is it an award-winning movie? No, but it's very watchable, and it has a really creepy southern vibe. Mainly the house where they're at, it totally has like the creepy southern vibe. If you're a fan of the first one, you'll probably like this one as well. But again, it's not as good as the first. And finally, an oldie but a goodie, and that is Children of the Corn. A traveling couple ends up in this town in Nebraska where the children worship this cult that kills everyone. I feel like this movie is hit or miss. I liked it, but again, I love the vibes, so maybe that's why I liked it so much. But yeah, it's hit or miss with people, but it absolutely has that creepy small town vibe. Anyways, let me know if I've missed any. I'm sure I did. If you like these types of videos, let me know because I'm going to be making more. I'm going to be doing this series quite a bit. I've done it on TikTok and it was very popular. So I'm going to do it here and I'm going to recommend horror movies based on vibes because that's really how I like to watch horror movies. I mean, I'll watch a horror movie if it's like new and out, but sometimes I'm just like in the mood for like yeah, like a Southern Gothic horror movie or like a movie set in like the winter. So I will be doing more videos like this. So if this interests you, then please subscribe and I will see you in the next video.